How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with homebrew time in the form of I actually don't know what the hell I'm drinking. I know where it comes from and what style of beer it is. It comes from my boy Neil Cade. He actually owns Gilded Skull Brewing, but this is not a Gilded Skull beer. This is one of his homebrew beers. There's a big distinction between what you can produce and then homebrew stuff. Because anyway, regardless, using semi-proper glassware. He wrote me and told me everything about this beer. I forgot it. My camera's rolling right now. I don't want to stop it and go look it up and all that stuff. So I'm not going into it blind because I know it's a subtle variant on the previous one he sent me, I believe. But I kind of want to go into this without any of that information because it's a week old. He sent this to me a week ago. He said let it sit for a week. But then last night he texted me going, "Hey man, are you going to drink that beer? Because I think you should drink it right now because it's prime condition." And I said yes. It's probably the last weekend. I might be able to do some outdoor reviews. I wanted to do this outdoors. Of course, someone's leaf blowing in the background because that just happens every time I do beer reviews now. Anyway, so we're going to dive into this. So this is technically homebrew, and it is just a mixed culture beer, I believe. I know the other one, I believe the other one was like a, ooh, look at that carbonation go. That was pretty. I let this sit for a week. I'm going to pour this infinitely gently here. Because I did not want to get much, if any, of that sediment in this beer initially. I might give it a swirl and then taste it with the sediment at the end because I just like to do those kind of things. So we'll see what's what. I think we're good to go with that right there. Yeah, you can see how murky it's getting right now. But yeah, I mean, look at that. That is crystal clear. That is crystal clear, soft carbonation. Just looks like a beautiful, small, lowerish ABV kind of table beer, which is kind of what the other beer went for. Nothing overly tart, nothing overly acidic, but man, out here on a fall day, the sun's beaming in this direction, shining right down this beer. A little bit of skunkiness maybe in play. We'll move back, hide it a little bit from that sun. There you go. Yeah, I mean, she looks the part of a nice, soft little table jammer. Let's see if we can get a nose on it. Yeah, there's something in here. I don't know what it is for me. And knee-jerk, I want to say bologna. I know it's not that. It's almost like a subtle smoky character to it. I don't know where that's coming from. It's a green kind of smokiness. I know that doesn't make any sense. Maybe it is a little bit of light struck, though. That could be actually that kind of happening. Light struckness happens that quickly, people. So it could be the case where it just gets that little kind of skunkiness from that light struck from the sun out there. But it has this kind of soft tartness to it. Really not much of anything as far as acidity goes. And that light struckness is actually me also confusing it with a little bit of soft kind of yeast-based kind of citrus. There's something else in there. I just can't pull it out. I don't know what it is. I lack the kind of palate or the nose to kind of pull it out, at least from the aromatics. Let's actually just dive in, see what it's got. Cheers. Yeah, I think the sun actually did this a little bit dirty, but here's the thing. I don't mind a little bit of light struckness in these kind of beers. So it has this green vegetal, green chlorophyll-y kind of vibe to it. The way I believe the hops are just kind of coming off in this is more of a green kind of way. There's a soft tartness to it. Nothing over the top. Same thing goes with acidity. There's an acidic base to this beer, but it doesn't get anywhere near overly acidic. ABV on this, I forget what he told me. I think it's right around 4%, and it kind of drinks way above that that weight class. It drinks more like a 6-7% kind of beer. You know what I'm getting off this, and this is not, I'm not just saying this is just kind of blow smoke up Neil's ass. I'm getting Fantomy vibes off of this. Fantomy vibes, but green Fantomy vibes, like really young, really fresh, hyper fresh kind of Fantomy vibes off of this. There is a citrus component in this. It's got to be all Brett driven. I would assume it's Brett driven. And it actually is like a spritzy kind of kumquat-y thing in combination with a little bit of pineapple. That's kind of how it comes off for me. But the way those green hops kind of play, maybe a touch of light struck that actually I think is a positive in these kind of beers. And the brightness of this beer, it's almost a summer beer, but definitely kind of has a little bit of fall vibes going for it too, because that's honestly, Saison for me is very much a fall beer. I dig this. I like this. I think it's very tasty. I still think there's some component in it, and this is the fun part about going in this beer without actually remembering what Neil sent me. I think there's something in there that I'm missing. The last one I believe was a dandelion, right? I don't, or sunflower seed, or both. There is this kind of green, kind of, and like I keep saying, vegetal, kind of green herby, kind of not minty, but kind of like, it's not basil, but those kind of herbs, those kind of more kind of I don't want to say citrusy herbs, but more sweeter, fruitier herbs as opposed to spicy kind of herb. I'm getting that in here. So there's something else going on there. I could see it. I just can't really pick it out. Like almost like a lemongrass, but on steroids kind of thing going on. I keep leaning into that kind of citrus lemon kind of thing because I believe I'm getting a decent amount of it. It could be from hops, could be from actual from the actual yeast too. But I think there might be something else going on. But let's just cut to the chase and talk about the beer rather than trying to guess what the hell's in it. Because I'm going to write all that down. It has a title, has a name, has ingredients. I'll put all that somewhere in the comment section or description. This is really nice. I mean, this is what I want to drink right now. Last day I'm going to be able to sit outside without being overtly cold. It's not warm out. It's like 45 degrees. But man, if it does not hit the spot. So yeah, epically tasty stuff. Listen, these kind of table beers that I'm getting, you know, from Neil, from John down in Brewster Ales, this is the stuff that really kind of amazes me when it comes to the homebrew world. Doing this kind of delicate, small, yet infinitely tasty and pretty much I don't want to say flawless because that's kind of a little hot or a little tall order for any brewer, but really clean, well-made beer. But also mixed culture, organic, not processed and pasteurized kind of stuff turns me on. And when they do it and do it this well, I can't help but be impressed. This is fantastic beer. So thank you very much for sending this off. Thanks so much for sharing these beers with me, Neil. I really appreciate it, brother. Super cool. I still want to try some of your hazies. They're out there in the real world. But when, not if, when you get to the point where you're doing this on a commercial level, I think people are going to be very happy. Let's put it that way. So there you go. A little bit of quote-unquote homebrew in the books. If you want to check Neil out, like I said, Gilded Skull Brewing is his brewery, but it's mostly the hazy side of things. But if you follow him on Instagram, you can definitely kind of see what he's doing more on the kind of mixed culture and kind of farmhousey tip. So go check him out. If you dig on homebrew, if you like homebrew, you make homebrew, you like to send some off, you're more than welcome to reach out. Massivebeers at gmail.com or matt@massivebeers.com. It'll get the same place. And hopefully you guys enjoying a little bit of homebrew. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of pretty fall beer right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.